Mr. Floyd. I guess YouTube yesterday. We had last night, and I'll give a few minutes here for people to come in. But last night we did have a Tuesday night live, but YouTube did not send out a notification. So these things happen. But it is up there. It was a short one, but probably one that was needing to be posted. Helene, Henny, and Millie, good Dunning. And we'll give it a few minutes for let people to show up here. If you're new here, if you're watching this not live, Shari, good Dunning. And I think I replied to your email, or I was about to. And just looking forward to Saturday. I'm going to be live on Shari's channel on Saturday at noon, my time, and 2 o'clock East Coast. I think that's correct. And yeah, so cool. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, how's your dawning? If you're new here, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell for when I do go live. We do this Monday through Friday. Generally, we do Tuesday night live, and we did last night, but YouTube did not send out notifications or anything. I'm not the first to be hearing that, so YouTube is YouTube, and we love YouTube. We're grateful for the platform. So yeah, so if you want to watch that, I would be grateful. It's up there. It's about 15 minutes. The topic was, why do I channel? Because we never really put that out there. Saint Germain never put it out there. His intentions, other than just to build your universe, as to why he's channeling through me. Shari's channel, thank you. And as well, I do one-on-one sessions as well. Those are starting to pick up slowly but grateful. Everything's slowly but surely. And you know something's good, really meant for your universe, if it doesn't come in like a gangbuster and then it slowly but surely, like, it builds up. If it comes in like a gangbuster, keep in mind it can go out like a gangbuster. But if it's something that's like slow and steady, then generally it's meant for you, and it'll stay in your universe. There we go. That makes more sense. But so yeah, how's your universe going there, Victoria? Welcome. Good morning. We'll reschedule. We're going to put up, and I'll post it later today or the next 2 days. The next Tuesday night live there. So I don't know what happened with YouTube and the notifications and whatnot, but we keep on moving forward, right? Even with the ISIS pyramid that you would see if you had bigger eyes or more vision. But the pyramid of protection that's wrapped around us, if you were here yesterday, and if not, the pyramid's still there. If you just watch this, ISIS will drop a pyramid around you. But nonetheless, even with the pyramid of protection, goofy things can happen. It's more you're protected from the larger things and the grander in generals. But gremlins are gremlins. They may happen, they may not. But and YouTube is YouTube. Sometimes, and we've all seen the live that doesn't. Had it happen to me down by the creek in Lyons here, just down the river or down the street near the mountains. A couple weeks ago. We all know that YouTube. We've all seen a live that gets tanked or gets pulled, or we watch Millie and I watch Gasper a couple of times. I track Passion, which I had mentioned in another video, where he gets his videos pulled while he's in the middle of his live. So who knows? But we're just grateful. I'm grateful you guys are here, and so we'll continue with Tuesday Night Live. Mary, good dwelling. So yeah. In your universe, then, we're going to talk about spells. You didn't have the proper cover sheet. Exactly. Yeah, I know. I have 7 bosses who tell me that my TPS reports are wrong. Exactly. Maybe I need to go to a career hypnotherapist. But let's see. Mr. Shackelford. It's Wednesday. Thank you, Rusty Shackelford, for stating that. Yes, but last night was Tuesday when I do Tuesday Night Live. So next Tuesday I'll repost. I'll make sure that we're all hopefully going to get notifications for Tuesday Night Live, but I can't guarantee anything from the tube. Ellen, good dawning. How's happy singing there? I hope you're having a boisterous day. How awesome to see you. Ellen is our resident karaoke expert. If you need entertainment, listen to karaoke. Ellen, if you want to see your universe in a different manner, watch Millie. And I don't know if Mr. R. Shackelford has his own channel or not. Nonetheless. Um, so yeah, we're going to talk about spells, and not even spells, spells that you cast. I love Millie Shell. So do I. It's that chipmunk. She sees the universe in a way that I'd never seen it. And so, like the chipmunk video, where it's a whole nother universe, and she sees it. She shows it to us, and it's beautiful. Um, but yeah, are you casting spells? That's the question. Are you casting spells against yourself? Are you casting spells against others? And when we say spells, when you're flinging words, you're flinging energy. And human language, English language in general, all language is casting spells. English language for sure. I mean, I don't know a lot of Fatima, good dawning. Blessings to you. I don't know French or any. I know a little Spanish, enough to embarrass myself, but you'll understand me. But you'll be laughing at the same time. But as far as other languages go, in English at least, we even call it spelling. So, are you casting spells throughout your day? That's the real question. What are you flinging into the universe? Because when you're talking and saying things, you're throwing it out there. You're high, so you're giving that energy, and it's flinging from you, um, and it's out there, and it never stops. Theoretically, energy keeps on going. It just gets weaker as it travels further. But so your energy, whatever you state, goes out there literally forever. What's the intention behind that? What are you trying to do? Ellen Michelle, thank you. What are you trying to do or not do? Because if we're not careful, if we're not conscious of what we're stating, we're casting spells. If we're telling somebody that we damn them to X, Y, or Z, then you are casting that spell to them. Everything that you throw out there has its opposite, because we live in the yin yang duality planet, right? So if you're throwing out negative spells to somebody else, you're also dropping a negative spell against yourself. So if you're damning somebody, or you're telling them that you wish them to F off, or whatever negative you're using, or I wish you were out of fight, just get fired from this job. Whatever it is, you're asking the universe in a roundabout sort of way for that to happen to you. Um, keep that in mind. We're going to do a couple of different things. So we're going to get back into our pyramids, because we're going to have Archangel Raphael, or actually Archangels Michael, remove spells, any spells that we've casted to anybody else, and we're going to remove the spells that have been casted against us. So if we close our eyes, we want to take a moment here. Good dawning, all. We appreciate you here, and if you're watching in the rewind or in the replay, all energies are all timeless, as you are, and timeless in form. So whenever you're watching this, be it 2 a.m., 3 a.m., next week, a decade from now, the energy is still there, that this doesn't, what we're about to do here, has the same effect. It's like doing Reiki on YouTube. Doesn't matter if you're watching it live or watching like Michael and Ricky or Spirit Pond or whatever. When you're watching it, it's the fact that you are watching it. All right, so close your eyes. We're going to put ourselves back. You sit wherever you choose, the beach, your bed, middle of the forest, Giza, Egypt, wherever it is, you're sitting there. And again, we're going to drop it. Your pyramid's there. It's always there, but you see it now. So you get your pyramid. You look to your left. This is just what we did the other day. We have Archangel Michael. We look up. We see the violet flame spinning around. And if we look through that, all the way up to the top, we see the green light from Archangel Raphael, sending healing light to combine with the violet flame to clear what we're about to throw to Isis. We've opened up the side panel here. The glass is up. Anything can leave. And so we're going to call upon Isis to catch the energies again today as we continue our clearing in our pyramids of protection. So if you haven't been watching the last 2 days, we dropped pyramids of protection over whoever was watching. And of course, if you're watching in the replay, you have a pyramid of protection as well. And if you're new to this completely, we give you, Isis will come to you if you allow, and drop a pyramid of protection over you as well. We're all sitting wherever we are with our pyramid of protection. It's kind of like think of it as like Wonder Woman's invisible jet. You know it's there, but you just can't see it. So you're sitting on the ground, but you're actually on the bottom underneath you is the pyramid of protection, but it's clear. And of course, as we said yesterday, if you have larger eyes, that's why you only see like 0.1% of the visual light spectrum. If you saw this whole thing, you'd see ISIS and you would physically see your pyramid of protection. That's why this is a feeling universe. Because if we left it to your sight, it'd be over in 5 seconds. It would take about 2 seconds. You'd be like, poof. You'd be awake real fast. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to give to Archangel Michael. We're going to call up and we call forth all the spells cast against us from our parents, all the negative words, all the negative connotations, all the you can'ts. I call forth all the you're not worthies from our parents, from our mom and dad. We don't like him or her, being ex-boyfriends and girlfriends. We don't like your friends. We don't like your hobbies. We don't like your thinking. We don't like your behavior. You need to. You should. You didn't. Why? We call all that forth. We call it up out of the trauma body. We call forth all of the parental angers that weren't really about you, that were traumas that you triggered in your parents. We call forth maybe anger and yelling or frustrations your parents had, or maybe your parents threw a shoe at you, or they chased you around the room. We call forth all of that energy. We call forth any negative word ever said by your mom, any lack of hug or love, any glower look, any phrase uttered in ill will. We call it all forth from our mom and bring it to the surface of our dense trauma body. We call forth every act of unkindness from our mom. We call forth every act of unlovingness from our mom. We call forth every act of, depending on your mom, sabotage from your mom. We call forth every act of malice that your mom might or might not have done. We call forth every judgment your mom may have placed on you. We call forth anything you wish to call forth that have not been called, that is negative from your mom. We will take a moment. Call that forth, whatever it is. If there's a situation, your mom had a pattern, we call forth maybe your mom's drinking problem and her yelling when she was drunk, or your mom not being there because she's doing other things, dating around, or whatever she was doing. We call that energy forth as well. We call forth the energy if you felt you were left too much, maybe in front of a babysitter. We call forth that energy as well, an energy of possible feeling of neglect, not wanted, left behind, ignored. We call forth all that energy from our mom. We call forth the energy of unloved. If you felt unloved from your mom, we call that forth as well. We take all this energy. Maybe your mom withheld food from you, or maybe your mom withheld TV from you or your friends, or whatever your mom did. We take all of that negative energy and we ball it up. We pull it out of our body and we're going to ball it up. So roll it up. Smoosh all that negative mom energy into a ball and roll it up and hold it in your hand. We're going to call on Archangel Michael. He's going to come in with his sword and cut the umbilical to the ball of energy, negative energy and spells and all the crap your mother's thrown at you. We're going to cut that umbilical. So see, Archangel Michael's coming in and we're holding up the ball. And he comes in and slices the umbilical that holds that ball of energy to you. So now you have a free-flowing ball of energy, which we're going to hand over to Archangel Michael to your left. So now Michael has your energy and he's picking it up. You see this ball of spells cast by your mom, negativity cast by your mom, distrust placed by your mom, unloving acts by your mom. He takes that ball of energy and he pitches it right into Isis's disc, right out of your pyramid, burning it up in her disc, which represents the central sun. Keep in mind, anything that's sent to the central sun is always residing within the central sun. If you want those energies back, all you have to do is call it, but I'm sure you feel lighter than you did before. We now call upon Archangel Michael, again, to help us cut ties from any negative spells placed by our dad. We call upon Archangel Michael to help us release from the trauma body any spells placed by our father, your dad. Any negative words placed by your dad. Any small or dirty looks we bring to the surface of the trauma body to release. Any hateful words, any unkind words we bring to the surface to release from the trauma body. Any negative looks, any put downs, any you can'ts, you're not worthy, or you shouldn'ts, we bring to the surface and let rise to the trauma, to the top of the trauma body to release. Any put downs, any doubts your father had in you that left you in doubt of yourself, any abandonment issues, anything your father might have done, any physical abuse that might have occurred, any verbal abuse, any neglect. Maybe your father would disappear for days and not come back. Whatever it is, whatever work was in your universe, you know the negative from your father. We bring to the surface now. Maybe your father was mean and had a really early curfew. We release that. Or maybe your father didn't allow you to date somebody you wanted to date. We release that. Maybe your father disliked your friends and they couldn't come over. We release that. Or maybe your father made you go to the beer fridge or whatever. We release all of that energy. Or maybe after the third beer, you had to release yourself, or you would have more energy coming after you. We release that too. We release any expectations that have been placed upon you by your father. We release any feelings of lack or unloved that your father may have imprinted on you. We release any fears that your father may have imprinted on you that weren't yours to begin with. We release it all. Take a moment and sit back. If there's a moment in your universe that you, instantly comes to you that you would want to release from communication or connection with your father, bring that to the surface as well. If your father was rude or mean or insolent, we bring that to the surface. If your father was ignoring you, or you never bonded with your father, or he was just strictly in his dense trauma body and could not even deal with you, we bring all that to the surface. Whatever it is for you. We take these traumas and whatever that one looming trauma, that big trauma that's sitting over your head. Like for Josh, when his father moved from down the street, so to speak, to Chicago within 3 days of telling him. Whatever that trauma would be for you, for me, for everyone. Take that trauma and ball it up. I'm sort of channeling this. Take that trauma and ball it up. Lift that ball up. We're going to invite Archangel Michael to come in. He's going to cut the umbilical cord that is attaching you to the traumas from your father. Here comes Michael. Whack. Now you have this free-floating ball in your hand, which you're going to hand to Archangel Michael to your left. So Michael now has all your energy, the trauma energies, the negative spells that have been cast on you of worthlessness, unworthiness, you'll nevers, you're not going tos, from your father, whatever else junk energy that they transmuted to you, that took your worthiness down, that made you a smaller than the all that you really are. We're going to take that ball of energy and pitch it right into Isis and into the central sun, where she's catching it in her disk and burning it up. And again, any of those energies you want back, call forth to Isis in the central sun. They will return to you if you really want that pain and trauma. We're going to bring in Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain for a channeling. And if you're new here, again, I'm a semi-conscious channeler. I count down to 5. If I open my eyes, I'm not cheating. I can look out and see brief things, but too much light, there's too much energy, and then I start squinting, and then it gets weird. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good dawning, and welcome to Good Dawning with Mr. Floyd. We are Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain, and we are channeling through Josh for you. Hopefully you have feeling a little lighter as you have given away some of the dense trauma body that you have been carrying around in balls of energy to Archangel Michael, who pitched your negative energies from your father and your mother, to Isis, who burned it up into the central sun. Your parents did not know any better when they were talking to you and casting these spells and negative things. Your parents did the best they could, unless they were purposely malice. For Josh's mom, for example, as she was physically abused, she did not physically abuse him, she was just verbal. So for her, that is the best she could do. Well, can you at least have some compassion in your universe? And can you carry that compassion today instead of anger or frustration for where your parents could not be what you wanted them to be in your universe, for where your parents could not be the best for you? Where in your universe can you find that compassionate, loving heart as source to understand, like Josh did, that his mother was horrifically physically abused? And that's only because her father had liberated Buchenwald concentration camp and got no mental assistance for that. So he was beyond shell-shocked. He was human-shocked to see basically 100,000 dead bodies at once. But nonetheless, so for him to cope, he took it out on Josh's mother, who took it out on Josh. But can you see that compassionate timeline in your universe, where maybe your father or your mother didn't have the best universe, or your grandparents might not have been the best to your parents? Can you find that compassion to see, okay, maybe my parents did not have these skills, the life skills, the vibrational skills. As you go back generations, do keep in mind, unless you go back to Atlantis or Egypt or something, that as you step backwards each generation, you're also stepping down in vibration. I'm going to repeat that. As you look backwards in generational timelines, you're also looking backwards or lower in vibrational timeline as well. Human is ascending, so if we go back, humans are ascending. So if we go backwards in time, unless you end up all the way in ancient Egypt, or like something like that, then you are going to find that as humans go backwards in time, the energy field is less. So unless you're going to Atlantis, there we go. You're going all the way back to Atlantis where the energy field was tremendous. Then that's a whole different story, but that was a whole different root race almost, so to speak. But nonetheless, can you understand in your universe where people, maybe you had a teacher, we're going to expand this, of course, who gave you negative energies, but she really cared, but the way she cared was in a negative way. And so can you release that, all that trauma that you are carrying? Can you start to invert? What we are asking for you to do today is to invert yourself, to see through the other person's eyes, your mom, your dad, maybe the mean teacher, whatever it is in your universe. Can you see through their eyes that they might have done the best that they could when they are casting spells on you and saying that you are a loser or what have you? Maybe that is the best they could do. Or maybe they are, when they are hitting you, ignoring you, here's your dinner, and they throw food at you. Whatever negative was happening in your universe, can you have some compassion that maybe their universe was not so awesome either? Can you also have that compassion to go, okay, I am where I am at. They are where they are at now, unless you are currently in a trauma bond situation or something. Can you release those energies? We've given them to the essential sun, but can you release it as far as in love? I love you, and let them go, so to speak. For Josh, for example, once he figured out that his mother had told him that she was physically abused, then it was like the light switch hit. It took a little while to release, to forgive. But that's where the forgiveness can set in, because it's like, oh, well, at least she didn't try to hit Josh, right? So to speak. Um, where in your universe can you see that? If you had a parent who was maybe an immigrant parent who was a little bit off, or would say things that weren't colorful to you here, like in the States, but they would have been okay, like if you're in another country. Can you accept that? Can you see where they are coming from? Can you slow down in your universe to look at those you have a trauma bond with, you have been spellcasted upon, or who have put negative energies to you? Can you look at them with a form of compassion, with a compassionate heart? And can you, of course, forgive them? We don't know. That forgiveness is a big word, so we can't say that you should or should not forgive somebody. But can you work towards forgiving somebody? Like for Josh, again, we can only use examples that we know. So we're going to go back to Josh. He obviously, and of course, has forgiven his mother for being verbally abusive when she was physically abused as a child and as a teenager, as an adolescent, from her parents. She did not know any better, but she knew that hitting was bad. So once Josh learned that she was abused, it brought it all into frame. Then this is what is going on, and it is generational trauma. He did not say generational trauma at the time, but that's what that is. It's generational trauma. So for Josh, he broke the generational trauma. So he has no kids, so he is not abusing them, and he is no longer speaking with his mother, who, even when he tried to break the trauma, saying, I understand why you are doing this and you don't need to do this anymore, she was still just as equally mean. It didn't change the relationship. So then at that point, you have to go, okay, I recognize your behavior. You are being mean and insolent. You know it. Josh knows it. So if you're not going to stop that behavior, if just recognizing it and saying, I understand why you are acting this way, is going to trigger you to be even meaner to Josh, then he's going to have to step away. So in your universe, that's a loving act for Josh and for her, because she does not need to be ginning up all that cortisone energies to attack me or Josh for no reason. So in your universe, where can you find that compassion? Well, maybe you had an honorary grandfather, but you don't realize what the kind of universe they're in. Or maybe you have somebody, like a lot of people who are alive during maybe like World War II or during like the Great Depression are really financially, they don't spend a lot of their money. They are very tight with their money. They're very worried about losing money. So maybe your parents were like that, and so you developed resentments because you wanted maybe a Hershey's candy bar when you would go to the grocery store, and they would never buy you the 20 cent at the time, the 20 or 30 cent Hershey candy bar, because they had that lack mentality. Can you release that energy and say, see where they are coming from? This is where you are as an initiate, as the lighter being, as a higher density being, as somebody who is vibrating. You can see more of the picture than most people. You are not seeing as a more narrow field. As you vibrate more, you see more. As you ascend, your picture of your universe, of the greater universe, gets larger. Unfortunately, you still only see 1% of the visible light spectrum, so to speak, not even. But your body, your vibration picks up more energy. You see things more clearly. So in your universe, then, where are these, with your parents, with your mom, with your dad, with people who are in your daily, maybe your babysitter, your teachers, whatever, maybe your best friend's mom or dad, who somebody you would see as a child all the time. Can you see into their universe? Why they might have been a little bit, I'm not going to say a little bit, but projected what they did to you, behave the way they did with you. Can you see that? And if you cannot, that is okay. Obviously, you do not know sometimes why behaviors are what they are. Of course not. But in that case, then can you forgive? Can you just understand that that is who they were and forgive that? You've already released the energy. It's not here anymore unless you are holding on to it. You can hold on to it just by rethinking it. You are pulling it back into your universe. But if you have given it away, then at this point, then you want to look into forgiveness in your universe for those energies. That's where the compassion comes in, where you can try to put your foot into their shoe, so to speak, wearing the other person's shoe or putting on their shirt. So you can understand and have compassion for why they were so anti-energetic to you, so to speak, negative, mean, whatever. And again, if you are watching this as well, do keep this in mind. A lot of you, like Josh, you are gray workers. You are light. You know you are light, but you are a change agent, right? So you come into this universe. Your light, your energy alone, because you are vibrating so high, brings out in other people their traumas. So sometimes you just walk into a place, and you might have noticed this yourself. You walk into a place, maybe it's a lower vibrational place, and you walk in, you start, people will sigh, people might look at you a little weird. You are coming with these higher vibrations. So you are coming in like a bright light bulb, like 100-watt light bulb, but the restaurant or the place you are going, wherever it is, the store, the person's house is only showing 40-watt light bulbs. So they're only lighting up 40-watt light bulbs, but you're coming in as a 100-watt light bulb. So keep that in mind. There may not be anything other than your light brings out the trauma in others. You are the change agent, the gray agent, the dark workers, the shadow workers, so to speak, where you bring up other people's shadows. That can happen as well. And like Josh is one of those. Wherever he goes, he's a change agent. He worked at a pizza parlor that is no longer in business. He worked at a dental office where the staff quit. We could go on, but you get the idea. He worked for a Radio Shack. Do you see Radio Shack in business anywhere? Not a single one. He worked at a hardware store. That hardware store is now a little grocery store. So he almost worked at a deli across the street from the hardware store. The deli burnt down and moved to another place. There's not a single place that Josh has worked that has not been changed. He worked for Humana Health Insurance. They were in the original Baldwin Piano Factory, which is now condominiums, and Humana is no longer even located in the building they built next door with their name on it. And the entire job that Josh had is moved to the Philippines. So maybe you are a change agent. Maybe everywhere you go, things happen. He moved into an apartment complex. Maybe the apartment complex had to sell to another company. So it's now another apartment complex. It's not the same one he moved into. His apartment didn't change, but the name changed. There you go. So in your universe, where are you seeing that change? When Josh joined the army, he was the last group in the army to march in boots. So we did this 15-mile road march in combat boots. The next group, they did it in tennis shoes. So there you go. Change agent. Everything changes. So maybe you are that person as well. So in your universe, then where can you see that? Where are you accepting those energies? We're not going to be too much longer here, but what we want to state today, and this is your job for today, and the transmission we want to get over today is have compassion. If you are on a phone conversation with a family member who has negative energies, says things, casts spells upon you, first off, you can negate those spells by saying, I do not claim that energy. Wipe it away. I do not claim what you are trying to tell me. Period. I'm not accepting that. I am source. I am the source of my own. You can say what you choose. It is not sticking to me. You don't want to say like I am rubber, you are glue, and it bounces off me and sticks to you, so to speak. But that's the general idea. If you are stating that in yourself, then the words will have no effect. Of course, you are also protected by a pyramid from ISIS. But keep in mind, the pyramid only protects you so far. If you want to internalize and sit there and beat your head over something somebody says to you about you are this, and you sit there and internalize it for hours on end, there's no pyramid of protection that's going to stop it from playing in your head. You can give it to ISIS, and that's the idea, is that you are now covered. ISIS, I don't want this anymore. Take it. I don't need to carry that dense energy. Take it. Now, the pyramid of protection is also hopefully to help you, like if you are driving your car, to not get into an accident and what's not. Of course, it's for the bigger things as well. You get onto an airplane, you are divinely flying, so to speak. Especially if you're on a 737, we are going to give you extra divinity on that one. On a max. There's nothing maximum about them anymore, but nonetheless. So if you are out there in your universe, you can gin those energies up still, even with your pyramid of protection, if you want to start diving into it in your own head. But if you are going to see it with compassion, somebody is throwing their negative energy at you, clap, you are a loser. They are the loser because you have to understand something. If whatever somebody is giving to you, they have to understand that energy first. They may not understand what they are saying. That. So you are a loser. Okay, so you understand what loser is. So you must be one yourself if you are claiming I am, because you have to understand that energy. You understand? So some people don't know what they are doing. So you just let them be. And you just, I don't claim that energy. What is wrong with you? You know you must be the loser because you have to I recognize that energy in yourself to see it in me and walk away. That is how you battle these things. You do not have to internalize these things. I am a loser? Oh no, what the no? You can do that, but look who is telling you that. Anything they tell you, you are. You have to recognize that energy first. There we go. Carry that with you and carry compassion. You don't know their backstory. You don't know anybody's backstory. You don't know what was done through or for them that made them so negative that is now coming to you. We are Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain, and we have channeled. Remember, look with compassion and we are not done with this subject by far. This can go on for days, but we will expound on this, I am sure. But from your end today, if you have to talk to your parents and your parents are rude or insolent, with compassion, look to your great-grandparents to see that they were programmed to be rude and insolent. They had a universe that was not good for them. They can only transmute the love that they understand. So when generally speaking, the love you understand is the love from your mom and the love from your dad. So if your parents are rude and insolent to you, have compassion because your grandparents were probably rude and insolent to your parents. And now they are rude and insolent to you. If you can see that, you can break the generational curse, the trauma, whatever, the timeline. Be more cognizant in your universe. Have more compassion and don't let these things stick to you. And you can always, if it's too much, just ball it up, hold it up, ask Michael to cut the cord, give him the ball of energy, and throw it to Isis, who will melt it away in her disk, which represents the central sun. There you go. We love you. You love yourself. Of course you do. You are watching this. Love yourself more by seeing people with a compassionate heart. If they are dissing you, you're at the water cooler and Fran is yelling at you, it's not you. What is going on in Fran's universe? Somebody may have pissed in her Cheerios this morning, so to speak. You do not know what she has to deal with. Maybe her husband is abusive. And so she is just yelling at you to get out the energy. Have more compassion in your universe, and you won't hold so much dense trauma body energy. Releasing transmission. All right, there we go. All right. Whew, that one was kind of tight too. All right, we're gonna go through the chat here. Oh wow, I'm sorry, Millie. I had a 6th grade teacher that should have been behind bars for outbursts and emotional abuse of the class. I can relate. I have one that corporal punishment and a ruler. I don't know how legal that was, and we'll leave it at that. So I certainly can relate, Millie. Favor. We've all had that teacher, but just look at the compassion. If you've had that mean teacher, good gosh, I can't imagine what their universe is like. Oh wow, it's 911. All right, so today it's your task for Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain to go out there in compassion, to see everything with a more compassionate heart and not take it into the dense trauma body so badly. If you have to deal with your parents and they're mean, just remember it's not you. They love you. They can only love you based on the trauma that they hold in their own body. Really, that's what it's all about. Everybody's doing the best they can based on the dense trauma body they're carting around. And so if they have to take it out on you, honestly, if they're taking their traumas out on you, it means they like you. It's a sign of we always abuse the ones we like. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's an interesting way to end it, but it's the truth. All right, guys, we love you. Much hugs there. We'll be live again tomorrow in the dawning, and I'll be at the park because I got to go from there straight to work. Today I'm off, and so I want to take care of some things here and sleep a little extra. It's kind of cool though. I just realized what I kind of jam myself up so I can never sleep in, but that's a good thing. Sometimes jamming your universe up to where you have to be accountable, good deal. All right, guys, I love you. See you in the dawning tomorrow. I appreciate you, and we're like at 400 and something, 414 subscribers. couldn't have done it all without you guys, and I am grateful beyond words. If you made it this far, if you're watching this, you want a one-on-one session with me, Archangel Raphael and Saint Germain, Mr. Floyd Channelings at gmail.com, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the dawning in the next. Love you guys. Thankful. Thank you.